Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to be doing another Shop My Stash. I am overdue for one of these. I have a bin that sits on a small dresser that's right next to my makeup desk, and I try to go through and pick out a good amount of products every 2 months because again I like to do these every few months, but I discovered this last couple of months that I just picked out way too many things the last time I did a Shop My Stash. I will link that video right here for you guys if you didn't have a chance to see it. There were a lot of things in there though that I was not able to get through and use, partly because it is summertime. I think I underestimated, once again, which I tend to do every single year, how busy summertime is for me and how I just don't have as much time to sit down and play with makeup as I normally do. We're always rushing somewhere, we're always going somewhere, we're always kind of out and about, and I find myself often only having about 5 minutes to put on my makeup. So since we are still in summer, I decided to kind of downsize the size of my bin. I got a smaller bin, I picked fewer products this time, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to actually get through all of these things and really use all these things in the next couple of months. Maybe at the beginning of September when school is back in session, schedules have calmed down, I might go back over to my larger bin and pick a little bit more because I do like having a lot of options, a lot of variety in these Shop My Stashes. But regardless, this is what we're going to be doing today. I know that some of you want to see the process of picking things out. I'm still working on getting this room cleaned up a little bit and prepared to where I could actually do that for you guys. But for today, I'm just going to walk you guys through the things I have picked out to kind of get me through the last month and a half of summer. So I hope that you guys are excited about this one. To any of you that are new, welcome to my channel. I hope that you will stick around, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell if you would like to be notified every time I upload a video. And with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the things that I picked out from my stash for the rest of July and August. Alright you guys, so here is everything that I picked out for this month. So I think we're going to I'm going to try my hardest not to bump my camera. It is literally right next to me. This is everything that I picked out. Let's go ahead and start with complexion products. So I'm going to start with a couple of primers. First off, this one right here. This is the Touch in Sol No Problem Prime Essence. This came in BoxyCharm a while ago. I want to say this was a few months ago. I've only used this. I used it in the Get Ready With Me that I filmed that will be coming up shortly, but I've only used it once before that. It's a very watery primer. It's not anything like their original primer. I'm still on the fence of whether or not I think this really does anything for me, but primers typically take me a while to decide if I like them because I don't always use a primer. But I'm going to try and get some consistent use out of this and see if it's something that I like and if I think it works for me. Next up I have this one right here. This is the Milani Soft Focus Glow. A lot of you guys have been asking about me comparing this to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Love that product, absolutely love it, and I've been using this one a lot more because I do want to get a good sense on if I think these are dupes for each other. Some people have said that they're dupes for one another. I definitely think the formulas aren't exactly the same. They feel different. I think the Charlotte Tilbury one does feel a lot more luxurious. It's a much higher price tag on it, so it doesn't surprise me that it feels much nicer and much more luxurious, but this is still a really nice product. The more I use it, the more I seem to like it. But I still want to get to know this thing a little bit better before I do like a dupes video or a comparison video. But I'll keep you guys posted, and hopefully that video will be coming next month. As for foundations this month, I picked out 3. First off, the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I've been using this foundation so much over the last month. It wasn't in my Shop My Stash last month, but this just matches me so well right now since my skin is just a little bit tanner than it typically is. And I do really love this foundation. I talked about it recently in my products I would buy if I lost all my makeup. I also picked out this one. This is the Becca Aqua Luminous Foundation. This is like a dropper foundation. It's very liquidy, very runny. Before now, this was just always a little bit too dark for me, so I would use this as a mix-in foundation for foundations that were a little bit too light or a little bit too matte. I really love this as a mix-in for a more matte foundation, or if I'm wanting to darken something up and just add a little bit of hydration and glow. But I'm excited to try this out by itself. I am wearing it today, and so far I really like the way this appears and feels on my skin. It is a very hydrating finish kind of foundation. It reminds me a little bit of the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation. I also grabbed this thing. I bought this a couple months ago with the intention of doing like a Wet n Wild or new from the drugstore kind of video, and I haven't even used it yet. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation Stick in the color Soft Ivory. Again, I think when I got this, it was a little bit too dark for me. I almost feel like it might be a little too light for me now, actually. But I want to give this a try and see if I like it. I love the convenience of a stick foundation. So let me know if you guys are interested in seeing me try this out. Also picked this thing back out. I did have this in my Shop My Stash last month. I used it quite a bit off and on and really have grown to like it more and more. The only time I don't love using really a cream, either bronzer or cheek product in general, is when I'm a little bit broken out, which I feel like I've been broken out on my cheeks quite a bit over the last month, so I haven't been using it as much. But as summer winds down, and I'm hoping as our schedule gets a little bit better and I'm not quite so stressed, I'm hoping these little breakouts that I've been having will go away and I'll be able to comfortably use this again, because I just think it works a little bit better when I don't have to work around breakouts. I just think powder products work a little bit better when I have breakouts on my actual cheeks. But I love this product, and the color of this is just so unique to anything else that I have. It's such an easy to work with kind of one and done product. I know I've said this before, but it really is like the perfect mix between a blush and a bronzer. It just gives you that perfect summertime color to your cheeks. So I also picked out this setting spray. I picked this up I think about a month and a half ago, and I really have not had much of a chance to use it yet. I got this after Jessica Braun talked and raved about this thing, and then I heard a couple other people mention it as well, so I thought, you know, I'm going to try that out. When I went to my drugstore, for some reason when I saw the size of this bottle, and I think it was like $12 or $13, I almost didn't buy it because I think that is just really expensive for a 3-ounce setting spray. I don't know, L'Oreal sometimes. Love L'Oreal's products, but sometimes their prices just kind of frustrate me a little bit. I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, if it's a good setting spray, it's still cheaper than a Farsali or Urban Decay, so I don't know why I feel so much resentment over the fact that this is $12, but I just feel like I was expecting the bottle to be bigger. I think that Jessica Braun had said something about the bottle being really large, and like for $14 you get this really large bottle. I just don't think this is as big as I thought it would be. However, I did use this today. The mister on this thing is amazing. So if you have like a cheaper setting spray that you love, but maybe the mister's not so good, buy this, use it up, and then put your old setting spray that isn't in a good mister in this bottle. I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks that's a good idea? I'm definitely planning on doing that, but because good misters from the drugstore are hard to come by. So I have 2 concealers this month. I've been talking a lot about this Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. Love this thing. I am just about out, and I am hoping to repurchase this thing when I run out. Also really love this concealer. This is the Ulta Beauty Concealer. This, when I first purchased it back in the winter, was a little bit too dark for me. I have it in light neutral. But in the middle of the summer, this is a perfect color for under my eyes, a tad too light for the blemishes on my face. But I really love the formula of this one. It's the perfect mix of really good coverage, it's very hydrating, but it's also lightweight at the same time. I really love this. I want to pick it up in the lighter shade and the deeper shade so that I can use it all year round for whatever I need it for, because I think for the price, this is such a good concealer from the drugstore. And by the way, if you watch Samantha March's concealer ranking video, I think she had this ranked at like 2 or 3, which made me like it even more because I usually really love her concealer recommendations. One more face product right here. This is the IT Cosmetics CC Airbrush Perfecting Powder in the Illumination version. I don't know why I bought this. I bought this during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty because I think it was 50% off. I am not a powder person, and I'm definitely not a pressed powder person, especially when it comes to like pressed powders that have coverage to them. I just find them to be a little cakey on my skin. I've only used this once or twice. I was hoping it would knock my socks off. It hasn't knocked my socks off yet, but I do want to keep using it. I think now that I'm a little bit more tan, this will kind of match me a little bit better. I have it in the color light. So I'm on the fence about this thing. Let me know if you guys have tried this one, what you think about it. So let's move on to some palettes. Let's start with some face products and face palettes. This right here is the Cover FX palette. I think I mentioned this in my most recent favorites video, and this is definitely a favorite. I've been using this pretty much every day over the last month or month and a half. I just love this thing, and I love this thing. I use this almost for my entire makeup look. I love these highlighters right here for my eyes. They're beautiful eyeshadows, and I love this kind of lighter icy kind of highlighter on my inner corner. Love the blush in here. It's a really pretty pink for when you're a little bit tan. There's something about a pink blush and tan skin that I think just looks beautiful and timeless. I think these highlights will be too dark for me in the wintertime, but again, they make beautiful eyeshadows. Another face palette that I pulled in this month, and when I show you guys this thing, I will tell you about the tragic story that happened to my Tarte Pro Glow palette days after I got it in my BoxyCharm. I used it for a couple of days and really loved it. And then we went out of town for a baseball tournament for one of my sons, and I took it into the hotel room. 3 guesses what happened to this thing. So I was in the hotel room with Charlie, my husband, and my boys were out getting dinner, and I was just exhausted. So me and Charlie were watching something on TV. We fell asleep on the bed. Well, I fell asleep. That's what happened. I fell asleep. My makeup bag was sitting on the floor next to me with this thing in it. And once I woke up, like I didn't realize I'd fallen asleep. I woke up briefly and realized it was awfully quiet in that hotel room. So instantly I was like, Charlie, and I sat up on the bed and I could see her on the side of the bed and I knew exactly what she was doing. She is obsessed with my makeup, surprise, surprise, and she had my Moda brush, not this one, but it's upstairs, but my blush brush that I use for these face palettes, and I think she had taken the end of it and just like dug it in all of these powders. Oh my gosh, my heart just dropped. I don't know, I was so upset, and I feel so terrible now because I absolutely terrified her, because I just looked at her and I said, Charlie! And she looked at me and she knew that she was in trouble, and she just felt awful. She ran over to the couch in our hotel room and just bawled hysterically for like an hour. And then I just felt like I'm the parent of the year, yelling at my kid for getting into makeup that I forgot that I just didn't put away. But what do you do? So sad. I did come home and clean it up and sanitize it. I can still use it. It's just so pop-marked now. I just don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to force myself to use this thing now. So unfortunate. It was brand new, but I thought I'd show it to you guys anyways. And I am gonna try and force myself to use it because it's still a great palette. But yeah, that's the sad story. The Tarte palette. So also from BoxyCharm, I didn't even realize this happened, but I've got another BoxyCharm product in here. This is the blush palette from Alamar Cosmetics. Love this thing, especially for summer. These are just perfect summertime colors. These oranges and this kind of peachy pink color right here are so beautiful on the cheeks with a tan complexion, and I love this just like neutral pink, goes with anything. I don't imagine I'll use this a lot in the wintertime, so I want to keep it in my stash for the next month and a half so I can get some good use out of it over the summertime. Moving on to this thing right here. This is the Natasha Denona Super Glow. I do want to keep using this thing. I really love this formula. I think it's beautiful. I haven't been reaching for it as much lately because I've been traveling so much with this thing right here. Or if I'm not traveling, I'm often like taking my kids to a baseball game and I have to do my makeup in the car after I drop them off for like their warm-ups. So I will take something like this with me just because it's easier to travel with. So I haven't been using this as much, but I had it in my Shop My Stash last month. I was really enjoying using it and I want to continue to use it. It is so disgustingly dirty. I should have probably cleaned that first, but hey, that's real life for you. Also picked out this thing. I haven't been using this as much as I was hoping that I would. This is the Kosas Cream Blush Duo. It has the highlighter and the blush in here. This one is in the shade 8th Muse. Jessica Braun raved about this thing. I think it is a beautiful product. I think the reason that I haven't been using it as much because, number one, I think cream products, I don't think they're necessarily high maintenance, but they do sometimes take a little bit longer to apply and a little bit more thought and careful blending than a powder does. So when I'm in a hurry, I just reach for a powder. I do want to get some more use out of this though, and especially hopefully as my skin clears up a little bit, because once again, cream products can just be a little bit more difficult for me to use when I have like actual breakouts or spots that I need to keep concealed on my cheeks. I just think powders work a little bit easier, but I still feel like the verdict's out on this. I want to try and get to know it a little better and see if it's something that I would recommend. All right, let's move on to eyeshadow palettes. I only have 3 and 2 of these are almost identical to each other. First off is this Soft Glam palette. I have not been reaching for this a lot lately and I don't think I've used this much, if ever, on my channel, and it's such a good palette. I don't know why I don't use this or reach for it more because I love Anastasia shadows, I love her formula, and I love this color story so much. This is a beautiful one and it's one I want to kind of start to use again and yeah, incorporate back into my routine. And I just feel like with the other palettes, this is a good break from the other 2 that I have. So the other ones I also picked out are the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. You guys know I've been loving this one lately. Such a fun palette for summer. Love the fun colors in here, but this thing is pretty expensive, $65, which is very, very expensive. This is the most expensive eyeshadow palette that I have in my collection. But if these are also still outside of your budget, if you're interested in this color story, but maybe you think, okay, I don't know that I'd wear those colors all the time, and $65 is still a lot of money, but I think it'd be fun to have some colors like that in my collection, I would recommend maybe taking a look at this palette. These aren't dupes for each other, but they definitely have some similarities to them. This is the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions palette. This one is so beautiful. You get a couple of similar shades in here. They kind of have a similar vibe to each other, and it's a fraction of the price, but the quality is still fantastic. These I think are about $27 or $28. I think they're under $30. Quality is amazing, and if you have a neutral palette to combine this with, I feel like you almost get this same palette if you combined this with really any neutral palette. It's just a really good quality palette. I love these shades in the summertime. I picked out both of those, not necessarily because they're super different from each other, but I thought it would be fun to really kind of test these out against each other, because I feel like this is a good alternative to this one if this one is just too far outside of your budget. Okay, so let's move into some of these smaller kind of eye and lip products. So I also pulled in this thing right here. This is the pigment from ColourPop and Kathleen Lights. This one's in the Lion. This is kind of the yellowy gold. Love this color. I'm wearing this on my eyes today with this yellow and the Huda Beauty palette, and I love that combination. I also pulled in this. This is the Marc Jacobs Undercover Eyeshadow Primer. I don't think this primer is amazing. I think that several of the drugstore primers that I have are better performing than this. I think the Wet n Wild one holds my shadows in place better than this one. I found quite a few shadows to still crease on me when I use this thing. I bought it simply for the fact that it was at my Marshalls. It was $7.99. It said Marc Jacobs on it. But if you see this thing even at TJ Maxx or at Marshalls, I would pass over it. I think the Wet n Wild one is better, and it's a fraction of the cost even if you find this thing at a discounted price. I just don't love it, but because I have it, I want to use it. So that's why it's in here this month, but I don't recommend it. A couple of eyebrow products. I have my e.l.f. pencil, which you guys know will probably be, I probably shouldn't even put it in my Shop My Stash because I truly use that thing at least 4 times a week. I also want to try and finish up this Brow Boss pencil from ColourPop. I like this. I don't love it. It's not my favorite smaller brow pencil. I think I like the one from, I have a BH Cosmetics one I like a little better than this one, but I have it. It's nice. I like the color of it, so I do want to finish using it. Also have this. This is the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. I've been using this for the last month, and the more I use it, the more I like it. It can be a little bit gloopy, so you have to make sure you have an extra spoolie on hand to kind of comb through it, but I love how this holds my brows in place. It's a good color and it gives them a nice volume to them. It gives them texture. It gives them a little bit of fullness. So moving on, I think lastly is my lip products. So let me just walk you guys through the things that I picked out for my lips. 2 lipsticks in here. First off is Mind Trick. That's what I was wearing in the intro of this video. I picked this out a long time ago from ColourPop and have not used it very much, but I love this color. It's like a bold lip that's toned down a little bit. It's kind of like an orangey red that's not overly intense. If you're kind of intimidated by a bold lip, I think a color like this would be a fun start. I also love that it has a bit of orange in it. You guys know I love orange. Also pulled in this thing. This is the Sephora collection. What are these called? They're Lip Stories lipsticks. This one's in the color Tan Lines. Such a perfect nude. I do like the formula of these, but I have to say, even though I think the packaging is cute, I'm not a big fan of this cardboard kind of packaging. This one got a little bit wet, and I feel like it kind of ruined it. I also pulled in this Persona Cosmetics liquid lipstick in the color Flamingo. This is just a very nice, kind of medium toned, basic pink. It has a little bit of like a cool tone, kind of purple mauve sort of feel to it. I love a good pink in the summertime, especially with a bit of a tan. And I just haven't used this very much, so I wanted to try and get some more use out of this, especially while I'm a little bit more tan. For lip pencil, I pulled in Milani 03 Nude. I've been loving this thing lately. Also pulled in 2 glosses. One is from, this also came in BoxyCharm. This is from Dominique Cosmetics. This is her Lemonade lip gloss in the color Peach Tea. This is just a beautiful kind of milky peachy pink. I love the way this looks on my lips. There's something about this though on the inner part of my lips that makes them feel a little bit like, it gives them like a weird texture, almost like a numbness on the inside of my lips. It's very subtle. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys have got this in BoxyCharm, if you've found that to be the case for you, if this like feels funny on the inside of your lips. But I love the formula and color of this, and it smells so good. It smells like cake. It does not smell like lemonade. I was kind of thrown off by that because it said lemonade on the packaging and it looks so like lemony and summery. I was expecting it to smell like lemonade, but it actually just smells kind of like vanilla. Speaking of vanilla, this is the BareMinerals lip gloss in the color Cosmic. This one smells even better, like a better vanilla cake. This is actually a similar color. It's not quite as milky. It's a little bit more of like just a neutral kind of peachy pink. Love these glosses. They're very opaque. They have these sometimes at Marshalls, so if you see these BareMinerals glosses at your Marshalls, I highly recommend picking them up because I think they're amazing. And I believe that is it. Alright you guys, and that is it for the products that I picked out for my Shop My Stash for July and August for the rest of the summer. Let me know which of these products you guys are most interested in seeing in action. Heads up, I did just film my Get Ready With Me using some of these products. I'm wearing that look right now, minus the lip combo. The lip is a little bit different. I did a pink lip for that video. I changed that lip into this color, which is My Trick, which I showed you in my Shop My Stash from ColourPop. But also in that video, I did use the Cover FX palette, I used the Huda Beauty palette, and I used the ColourPop pigment as well for this eye look, and a few other things. But let me know what you guys are most interested in seeing me try out over the next month and a half. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts to share on any of these products, what you guys are loving for the summer months. What are you guys reaching for? Because I definitely feel like summer is a time when my makeup routine gets a little bit less creative. I just don't have as much time to play with makeup as I normally do. So I've kind of been going back to basics a little bit. And I think that this smaller stash kind of reflects that a little bit. But I am excited to play with some of these items. Thank you guys again for joining me today. Any of you that are new, again, I hope that you'll subscribe, stick around, hit that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when I upload my new videos. And that is all I have for you guys. Thanks again for stopping by, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye. Picked out from my stash for January. Oh goodness, it's not January. Are you laughing at me? Get over here. Both of you. If you laugh, you have to make an appearance. Okay, come here. I hope you brushed your teeth. Are you laughing at my stuttering? You try it, it's hard. This is Wesley. Say hi, Wesley.
Hi, Wesley.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. This is scoundrel number 1. Do you know what a scoundrel is? It's a scoundrel. You guys are going to be banished. Banished from the basement. No. Get down here. Yes, you have to say hi.
Okay.
Then you can't laugh.
Hello,
goodbye. This is why filming in the summer is so difficult. Can you please be a little bit louder?
There we go. Is that good?
Yep, that was better.